Welcome to the Life of Hair. My name's James Atkinson. Thank you for joining me in this week's episode. Now, this week's episode is one of those episodes that just kept getting requested. I don't know why specifically. No one ever said why. But this was a highly requested video from Adam CIaccia. So people kept posting me in the comment section on my videos, please could you do a review of Adam CIaccia's videos, and I just picked one out of the blue, went onto his channel. I had not really seen many of his videos before. I'd seen some, some of the really kind of successful ones, but never actually kind of trawled through, and I didn't get very far before I stumbled across this one. In fact, this is probably the second video that I watched. And thought that, yes, why not? Let's do a video on Adam's video. So you don't need to hear any more about it, really. That's all that happened. This is why we're making this video today. I do follow through on request videos, not necessarily very quickly. I appreciate some of them are harder to make. Some of them, are kind of time challenging, and it's just been a funny year for making videos on request. So if you did make a request, I will have categorically put it on my list of videos to make. And when I get the time, I definitely will. So a quick thank you to everybody for all your support and the community, commenting, liking, sharing, subscribing, all of those wonderful things that really help. And notification bell, stick on the notification bell if you haven't already. Loads of you have, but some haven't. I appreciate you might not want notifications of my videos, but if you have, it would greatly help the channel. So thank you very much for that. And if you want to take your Life of Hair education one step further and join my Patreon, it is linked down in the description, and it is a membership to the Life of Hair, if you will, where we do some live tutorials every month on different subjects, different topics. So if you want to know more about that, then chat to me down in the comment section. It would be much appreciated to have you over there. Have a wonderful week, and I shall see you again very soon for another episode of The Life of Hair. Okay, so let's watch Adam's video together.
This episode of HairTube, we're going to find out if blondes really do have more fun. And is the bob still relevant? Is it timeless, or is it done?
Okay, gotta jump in, Adam. The bob ever going to be done? Never. Never, ever. Never is the bob going to be done. It is the little black dress, it's the blazer, it's the coat even. It's that much of a staple to the, fashion, if you will, of hair. I can't ever imagine one split second where the bob is done. So there you go. That's what I think. And I'm sure a lot of you out there who watch this will agree with me. Let's get on. Let's watch the rest of this video.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of HairTube. Fortunately, this is a little bit different to the regular intro due to technical difficulties. The regular intro that I did, I don't know what happened to it. It didn't work, didn't record.
If you're watching this, my friend, I feel your pain. I've been there. In fact, I was there this week when I sat down to record this video for the first time. This is the second. And I didn't press record, and I filmed myself for nearly an hour and hadn't pressed record and hadn't realised either. And when I realised, I was devastated. So, mate, I'm totally with you there. That's the trials and tribulations of having a YouTube channel for sure.
Is I used the Biolage Fiber Strong treatment, but I didn't shampoo the hair. I just used warm water, wet it down, and then use that treatment, and then rinsed it out. I don't want to agitate the scalp before a on-scalp lightening process. So the oils that were on Emma's scalp will actually provide a buffer, so that she's not sensitized to the lightener being on her scalp. It's something that's worth mentioning if you're doing a client for the first time, asking me if they've had that done before. And if they haven't had it done before, it's absolutely worth doing a patch test and then ask them to come back. I have seen, not for a long time, but I have seen people react to it. So it's very important that we do our due diligence and make sure that we're looking after the health and welfare of our clients before we go putting lightener on their scalp.
Okay, so Adam was there saying about he'd put a treatment on before bleaching. Two things really for me on that note is, first of all, yeah, definitely do not shampoo prior to bleaching. it's one of those things, as Adam said, it removes the buildup of oil from the scalp that can help to protect the scalp from damage when we're bleaching, because we're putting on something that's highly alkaline, and that highly alkaline substance can start to, corrode, burn the scalp. So yeah, totally with Adam there. Not exactly sure why he's wet the hair down prior to bleaching. I think I'd have gone in and bleached the hair first, and well, 100% sure, especially from a commercial standpoint. I would have gone in and bleached the hair first, then done my haircut. It would have been a lot quicker. It will save a bit of blow drying in the middle as well. Obviously he has his reasons, but he doesn't really explain his reasons. It would be great for him to let us know why he done the haircut first and then gone back in and done the bleach. He doesn't say that anywhere. And then he mentions patch testing for bleach. Now, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to leave bleach on someone's skin for 48 hours just to see if they had a reaction, because they definitely will. Manufacturers only recommend 50 minutes to 60 minutes. So I've never come across a patch test for bleach. Now, you definitely want a skin test because you want to do a toner, and toners will have the relevant chemicals to need to patch test. But never ever have I heard anyone recommend patch testing for bleach. I'm not sure if that's what he meant. And then you might have noticed that Adam said a lot in that video, in that clip. When I edited this video, Adam does a lot of pauses in between things that he says, and then says at the beginning of what he's about to say. So it looks like I was emphasizing the noise that he makes, but I genuinely wasn't. It was just the way that I was trying to shorten down his video, so this video wasn't over half an hour in length. So sorry about that. It's not a criticism, I do it too, and it's actually just part of human nature. It's as we think, we make this noise. There's nothing we can do about it. So sorry, Adam, if it felt like that was a bit of a Mickey take of the noise that you make just before you think to speak. Anyway, I'm sure someone could do that in one of my videos, and it really wasn't intentional. So please don't take it that way. It wasn't a me taking the Mickey thing.
I've got my 3 sections. Something that you'd hear me say a lot is I'm happy with taking one large section in the back, provided I have a scissor that can cut through it and I can control the hair. So I know sectioning is a very crucial part of cutting hair and colouring hair. It can also make it inefficient and inaccurate if you get a bit too over the top with it. So
very, very good point there. I'm a big fan of taking bigger sections, as long as you can cut through them. I totally agree with what he's saying there. You need a nice thick section to have a nice thick guide. I see so many times you get 1 centimeter perimeter section. Like if you're doing a really precise, ultra precise, mega super precise haircut, then yes, smaller sections are great. But if you're going to cut a 1 length barb or anything like that, bigger sections are okay. You need to obviously allow for curvatures in the head and stuff like that, but Adam absolutely smashes this 1 length in with aplomb, with 3 sections in the back and 2 in the sides on each side, so a grand total of 7 sections, and he cuts it in an absolute beauty. So yeah, totally with you there, mate. Got it, hit it out of the park.
Okay, moving on to the side, one of the things that's really important to remember is that when we are cutting over the ear, that we don't put too much tension. Otherwise what happens is we end up with a hole there. So I always use the wide end of the comb, and if it's left a little bit longer, or if you have to make an adjustment when it's dry, that's far better than having to go back and recut it because you put a hole there. So when the hair is above the shoulder, I don't need to turn the head to the side, but if you wanted to, you could go like this, just look over your left shoulder for me, and now all of a sudden it's much easier to get in there. You can see I'd actually don't stretch it over at all, comb the hair under, and then I cut it natural fall. And I can always make an adjustment there if I have to. Like I said, you don't want to have to go back and then cut the whole back shorter and then redo the sides because you put a hole there.
Love it. Great tips there from Adam. Turning the head, natural fall, no tension, bang on the money, Adam. Fantastic, mate. Great tips. I think, Adam's haircutting tutorials so far are very, very good. So you saw there that Adam had a beautiful, strong guideline, just 2 sections in that, and had a really clean obvious line to cut to, and that makes such a lot of difference, you know, especially when you're a younger stylist and you kind of lose your guidelines and you're looking for guidelines. Just make a bigger guideline and follow that. It's so much better that way. So a quick look here where Adam's just dried it off. As I said, I'm not really sure why he did treatment and then this particular process, because he's had to dry it again. But anyway, here it is, blasted off, ready to bleach. So let's see what Adam comes up with in the bleaching phase.
Okay, let's mix up some lightener. So we've got our Light Master with Bonder inside and our Matrix 30 volume. We're going to put that on straight onto a scalp. When I feel like it's almost ready, I'm going to come back, mix up some fresh Light Master with Bonder inside and maybe 10 or even 20 volume, and just clean those ends out so we can try and rinse it all at once. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with the toner today, but I'm thinking maybe peachy, pinky, but we'll just wait and see what it looks like when we get it all nice and clean.
Okay, I'm not sure about the idea of bleaching those ends again. I mean, they're pretty light anyway. He's talking about doing peachy, pinky colours. Unless you're doing, you know, silvers and kind of, you know, super light platinums, there would be no reason to go over those ends again. Not in my opinion anyway. So, well, we'll watch Adam apply this bleach now, but I'm really skeptical about the idea of bleaching those ends, and towards the latter part of this video, I think Adam will probably regret bleaching those ends a little bit too. But anyway, let's just keep going.
I prefer, I guess, because this is a preference, to start in the back. In the event that we've got to rinse it early, if we start in the back, it makes it really, really easy to rinse.
Okay, quick interjection. That is not a preference. That is a necessity. Please, guys, if you're bleaching of any description, please start in the back. If it needs to come off, you can just rinse the back off and then allow the front to keep processing. But if you start in the front needs to come off, you are inevitably going to get water onto under-processed bleach. So, you know, I like Adam in his video kind of says a few times, he caveats, you know, stuff that he does with, you know, this is the way I like to do it. That is fair enough, you know, and I'm sure that on being a YouTuber, you are open to people saying, you know, I do it this way, I do it that way. But there are certain things that we do that it's of paramount importance to start in a certain place for health and safety more than anything. You know, if it starts to burn in the nape, you know, or I don't know, I had a video, it's on here, you know, bleach went wrong. You know, it was really important that I started in the back. So guys, it's not a preference thing, it's definitely a necessity.
Key for me when doing on-scalp lightening is saturation. Lighten onto the scalp like tint, or like a semi or demi, or like a permanent color, because the performance is often dictated on the saturation of the lightener on the hair. So although you want to make sure you work neat and you don't want to slap it on, you want to make sure you do apply it liberally.
Absolutely bang on the money there, Adam. I always say you want to apply it like icing to a cake. You do not want to be able to see the cake under the icing. And that is exactly the same when it comes to bleaching hair, 100%. You know, there's nothing else to it, bleaching. Accuracy and a thick, even application, and you will be flying, my friends.
We've lightened Emma's hair, so you can see I've lightened in the root, I've lightened through the mid-lengths and ends. Now it's just about putting some colour back, so I think it's a bit too light for her complexion, so I'm going to darken it maybe one level, but I'm thinking about putting something in there like a little bit of, maybe something pink, violet pink, something like that, or pearl. So yeah, I'm going to head out the back, mix up some colour sync, and come back and get this toner on. I've decided I'm going to use Matrix Color Sync. I'm going to do half SPP, half 8P with some red to give it that pearly pink feel. And hopefully it brings us somewhere around level 10, 9, 10-ish, just because I want to put some depth back in there. So let's see how we go.
Not hugely au fait with Matrix, must say, but I'm definitely au fait with the tones he was using. SPP, not necessarily heard of that. Googled it the other day, actually. It seems to be like a tone only kind of it doesn't seem to have a depth to it. So I don't know whether it's going to make it lighter or darker. He's using 8P, Pearl, and he's adding in some red. So I'm assuming the red is going to be on a level 7, 6, 5 even, because obviously that's where red lives. You can obviously have lighter red, but then that's pink. So if you had a 9, 10, 8 level red, you would be pushing pink just by the nature of scaling backwards and forwards with red. I totally agree with dropping it down. It is a bit bright on her skin. He doesn't mention 2 formulations. He just, he's mentioned that he's going with 1 formulation. That's relevant later in this video. He's just got that pearl pink thing going on in his mind, and I can see where he's going from. He says a lot of hopefullys in his formulating there. Hopefully it'll be all right. Should be all right, those kind of things. Now, I am a very, very kind of accuracy orientated type of hairdresser. I want to know what the results are like. So when people say it should be okay, maybe look, let's hope so, those things always like trigger alarm bells in my ears. I don't know why. I'm just like, maybe. We'll see how this turns out later in the video. But for now, very interesting.
And I'm actually going to start. Again, this is just for me. This is a lot of the things I do are actually pretty unconventional. So
for me, when I watched Adam take on that bleach earlier in this video, I predicted the outcome of this pretty much, because he didn't take on her regrowth as a long bleach regrowth. She had a fairly substantial bleach regrowth, and he just went straight in with his bleach and just applied it to the roots, Bob's your uncle, and left it to process. And then he went in at the backwash and bleached the ends again, as he mentioned in the video. And I am seeing here the price that he has paid for that particular choice of colouring technique. I've got several videos on long bleach regrowths. If you want to see them, they're in the playlists on my channel. I might even link one at the end of this video if I remember. But you've got to do something about the cold zone and the hot zone, and the hair when it's, I don't know, 2.5, 3 inches long, as you can see on the screen right now, or piece of foil to incubate the product to lift it faster, lighter, further than it would do normally. But applying a toner to that type of lift is going to create problems with the toner that you'll see later on. I mean, when you saw it initially, he showed your head on, you can see right on the peripherals, it's lifted really well. And that's because that hair is finer, more porous, it lifts better. The very front is very blonde, but boy, he's got a lot of yellow going on there. He's, at least somewhere between an 8 and a 9, probably a 9. I mean, it's not perfect lighting, obviously. It's not perfectly lit, and I've zoomed in to show you. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say he's got it to a 9. But the ends are like, wow, they are bright. He's definitely going to struggle with that later. But please, guys, if the regrowth is longer than 1 inch, practice the due diligence that he mentioned earlier of doing a long bleach regrowth. It is so important. That's enough of that. On with the video.
if I go and start around the hairline, it's going to grab and it's going to be really bright there. So what I do is I actually start here. I'll leave the hairline out. I'm going to start here, all in the back, and then I'll do the hairline very, very last, because I don't want it to just be really bright around the hairline, and because the hair's finer there, it always lightens quicker there, and it also tends to grab, the color grabs really hard there. So
okay, just want to stop here really quickly. Remember what he just said. And I know that he caveats a lot of things in this video with it's, I'm not very conventional, I do things my own way, and that's great, perfect, So I do unconventional things sometimes too. But he does mention that he leaves the hairline out last because he doesn't want it to glow. It doesn't, it takes quicker, etc., etc. Now, I'm not going to say any more about it. You'll see at the end. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about what he says at the end. But I just want to highlight that particular part of this video. Okay?
And I'll literally brick all the way down, leave the hairline out, and then we'll go back and we'll do the hairline in the front last. What do you think? Looks good. Looks really good. But as Emma and I have identified, look at the weight and the heaviness through those ends. So now it's time to take some of that bulk out. So this is about, it is removing weight out of the ends, but it's also giving the hair space to move, because at the moment it's so dense on the ends that it all falls into one spot and it's got to stack out rather than being able to sit flatter. We want to make sure though we don't cut across our cutting line. That's not good. We'll end up making it really choppy on the ends. If that's what you're looking for, that's fine, but we're looking for like a seamless look, but we just want it to be lighter.
Okay, so Adam's point cutting the ends there, and he says he's making space. So, you know, good advice. Everything he just said there was really good. Don't cut across the lines and all those kind of things. But making space, what is that? Well, I thought a good way of you guys understanding that is this. Imagine my fingers are hairs and it's not texturized and they're all stacked up on top of each other. When you texturize, that happens. You get the hairs sitting within one another and therefore everything looks slimmer. So it goes from thick to slim. That's probably a good way of visualizing what he's trying to talk about there.
Beautiful. I love that really strong violet glow around the hairline. I think it just makes it look almost like a root stretch for on scalp lightened hair. What do you think?
Yeah, I love it.
Looks good, huh? Let's just do a little spin around so we can see. Really, really cool blonde. Again, it's just not like, I always try and think of ways to, I don't know, make things just a little bit different, give it a point of difference. So as I said to you when I was applying the toner, I left it lighter in last in the front, so we got it on there and it gave it that nice glow. It's also
so he just said that he had left it on the front there so it had a nice glow in the front. I think if we think back to something he said earlier, that he was going to do the front hairline last so that it didn't have that glow in the front. So I think this is one of those moments where you've got to hold your hands up and say, this is not what I was set out to do. But I'm going to hold my hands up, and it's turned out really nicely because I really like it, actually. Personally, really like the way it's turned out. But he definitely wasn't aiming for that. Two, he didn't have a second formulation for the root area to create a root shadow. So the discrepancy in colour comes from two places. The first place it comes from is the fact that the root area was darker, so the long bleach regrowth should have been applied, and then he bleached the ends again, making them more porous, which meant the colour didn't deposit in the same way through those ends. And obviously where the hair was yellow, it's grabbed harder on that area, and around the hairline where it was really light, you're seeing a lot of the tone come through. So there's a lot to that application that has created this look. I mean, I like it, but it would have been great if he'd have said, you know what, I made a mistake, it didn't come out the way I planned, it wasn't what I thought, but hey, it's turned out nicely. I don't know. That's what I probably would have said, and I would have tried to help you understand how you could do it differently. But instead, he's gone down the road of, doesn't it look cool? I did it all deliberately, which I'm not too down with, if I'm personally honest about it all. And I'm sure in hindsight, Adam might feel the same way, having maybe rewatched this video again. Anyway, let's see what else he has to say about it.
You know, it's got that beautiful transition into the end, so it's not like it's just all one color. It's just, I guess it's just like it's the same as what you do if you're doing a root stretch technique on someone with balayage. So I think it's really good and it suits you.
Okay, that's that. That's the end of the video, more or less. He just says thanks very much, you know, buy his merch, go and buy his merch, support him. Adam's got 138,000 followers on YouTube, so he's done very, very well for himself. A great job, Adam. You've got a lot of very great videos out there. I didn't want to, the first part of this video was fantastic. You know, the cutting part was brilliant. The colouring part just lost its way for me, you know. And some of those things, like I said, the porosity, the bleach in the ends again, the toner choices, you know, it all started to unravel a little bit towards the end of this video. So there's some of the topics I've covered in the past. And, you know, we all make mistakes. So it's really important that we can hold our hands up and say, you know what, guys, I didn't mean to do this, but this is how it's turned out. And this is how I can help you avoid that same mistake. So that's my final thoughts on this video. Thank you very much for watching it to the end. It's a long one, I know, but it is much appreciated. Loads of videos to come this year, next year. Well, not so many this year. Now we're running out of time. It's Christmas next week. Can you believe it? Or the week after. I've lost count. I've lost the track of the days. I'm in the salon now. It's just gone mad. So if you've left comments and I haven't got back to you, I will. I'm sorry. You know, it's just really busy at the moment. So have a wonderful week, and I'll see you again for another episode of The Life of Hair very soon.